Compare the three graphs and equations. What do you notice? So before I compare, I'm going to add that third equation here. I've already used f of x and g of x, so I'm going to call this one h of x. H of x is this equation that we just wrote, x minus 10. And then I'm going to go up here to the table. I'm going to add h of x here. Now all of our points filled in. You can see them down here. So you see that all three of these lines are going the same direction. That means they all have the same slope. So I can say all three graphs have the same slopes. Then if I think about these lines, it looks like they're the same line, but they've been moved up or down, or you could also think about it as being moved right or left. Whenever we take something and we move it up, down, left, or right, like this, here's up, down, left, right, we call that a translation. Not like English to Spanish, but it's called a translation in math. So a translation is when we move up, down, left, or right. So I'm going to draw this. Actually, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to like that. That's a translation. So all of them are translations of each other. And we can actually visualize this in Desmos if we did something like this. Oop. If I go down here and I graph a new function, let's do j of x. And this time, notice how we have x and then we have something after it. I'm going to graph x plus k. JK. And I'm going to now show you what happens when k is 0. So when k is 0, that should be right here on the, it goes through the origin at 0, 0. That's the black line. And here, let's change that color to purple. So we got that purple line right there. And then watch what happens as I move my k value. So you can think about this graph as moving right or left or up and down. Probably up and down makes the most sense. But this movement right here is called a translation. Okay, and then if we think specifically about how each one was translated, we started out with that graph that goes through the origin. We're going to call that the parent function, because that's kind of like the OG function, the original function. And then we can move that function 5 units up to get the blue line or 10 units down to get the green line. But they all come from that same starting function. So I'm going to put the translations of each other. The first graph was the parent function. Second graph was translated 5 up. The third graph was translated 10 down. I guess I'll put that over here.